what we have here is a standard AC6H non-contact AC voltage detector. Now what this thing does is tell you where electricity is. For example, this wire is dead. There's no electricity because I had the switch off. If I turn the switch on, it now says there's electricity. See how that works? For instance, these wires are hot going to it. Now, cool thing about this is it'll pick up any voltage. Anything between, let's see, this one is actually 50 volts to 1,000 volts. Category 4, 1,000 volts. So, here's the weird thing I'd like to show you. What's up there? I'm not doing anything to it, guys.
And you can watch it instead from the comfort of your burning beds, or you can sleep through the static.
We have a lot to talk about. Y'all, look at this. Look at this. We'll come right back to this. Is it possible that all the stuff happening on the earth right now is just demonic? I know you're thinking, no, mankind does this and they do that. Don't give man too much power. Don't you know that demons work through them? We'll go into the evils of what happened to St. Louis in just 1 minute, but do you know in Brazil, the fire is coming from up under the ground? And I'm sure you're thinking it's like, you know, gas or whatever stuff. But Brazil's been on fire for a while now, and this whole field is burning from up under it. And for these farmers, this is not a normal occurrence in their area. It's a once in a lifetime, everything's burning from under the ground. And that made me start thinking of the spiritual severity of everything happening on the earth. Let me show you something. Is it
So these two videos we just watched were both sent to me via text message today from viewers of the channel, and it reminds me of another video that I failed to make a copy of and put it in my library. Over the winter, there was video out there of a guy kicking the snow, and every time, just like when they stir the dirt with the hoe, he would kick the snow with his boot and flames would come up out of it. For whatever weird reason, I didn't copy and enter it into the Plasma Fire library. If anyone knows where I can get a copy of that video, if you've seen that video and you know what I'm talking about, comment below. Yeah, I saw it. If you happen to know where I can go record a copy of it, because this is like a game of memory. I'm a pattern-seeking primate. And when I see this, it makes me go, damn, I wish I would have taken a video of that guy kicking the snow with flames coming up out of the snow. Maybe I thought it's too easy to CGI that. Maybe it is gas. But where is the spark coming from? Even if there's gas coming up through the ground, you need a spark to ignite gas. And I dealt with a lot of this shit when I first started. People were like, well, maybe it's lava coming up, burning the trees from the inside. And I'm like, no, there's lightning bolt streaks of charcoal running through the trees. Even if the lava leached up through the tree, it would create a standard fire. This is electricity, clearly lightning bolts running through the trees. Other people want to say gas. Okay, gas. Where's the ignition of the gas? Where does that part come from? Jay Dreamer says plasma is essentially just ionized gas, electrified gas. One thing's for sure, electricity is the main component of these fires. The wood speaks for itself. Anyway, if any of you know where I can get a copy of that video that circulated amongst, I saw it on a couple different channels, so I'm hoping one of you might be able to remember. That's the problem. When I don't make a video of something and enter it into my own library later on, like playing the game Memory, where you're turning over a card and you go, oh yeah, I remember where I saw a card just like that, but I didn't make a video of it because other people had. If any of you remember where the guy kicking the snow with his boot, making flames come right up out of the snow by stirring it with his boot, let me know. I'd like to get a copy of that in my library for future pattern recognition opportunities. Brush Junkie channel released a video showing over 100 fires breaking out in the Minnesota and Nebraska area and focusing on how accurate the red flag warnings are these days. Like they know exactly when and where these fires are going to occur. Here's a small piece of that video. I'll include the link in the description.
Also mentioned that the red flag warning started from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. Well, the fires in Minnesota broke out exactly a half hour after the red flag warning started. And so, yes, now this one, actually, this is an update from NOAA and the National Weather Service on the fire weather outlooks for Sunday, May 12th, which is the day that the fires broke out in Minnesota. However, this was actually released about 8 hours before the fire started. So this was released about 3:30 a.m. and the fire broke out about 8 hours later at 11:30 a.m. And as it turns out, the NOAA fire weather maps were scary accurate because this is like the exact places where the fires have broken out. So you can see that the elevated and critical fire weather warning areas go all the way from Nebraska up to northern Minnesota. And it just so happens that that's exactly where these fires broke out. So we did have some fires in Nebraska, which I will cover after we go through Minnesota and Arizona too. But there were over 100 fires that broke out over the weekend in just Minnesota alone. I believe there were also have some fires in Nebraska, which I will cover after we go through Minnesota and Arizona too. But there were over 100 fires that broke out over the weekend in just Minnesota alone. I believe there were also like 40 fires in Wisconsin, but they were much smaller fires and they've been under control.
And I see there Nebraska, Arizona, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, 100 in Minnesota alone. They know exactly when and where these things are going to happen. They can measure the fluctuation in the magnetic field and know exactly when and where these are going to strike.